It seems that every day I have some really odd conversations with people. It usually starts with me trying to talk about something positive. Like today, I picked up an Uber passenger and was talking about, oh, it looks like we're about to turn around with the economy. Iran is going to be coming with some kind of like peace treaty deal, and life here can kind of get back to normal. Our gas prices will come back down, so at least that'll stabilize, and hopefully we're out of another war. And my passenger in the Uber, who was just visiting his second home here in Tahoe, was then went on and said, well, America is such a terrible place, and we have decimated that country, and the only reason that we're in a peace is because Trump was about to send a nuclear bomb and blow up Iran, which I thought was a little bit ridiculous. I'm not really sure if we were at that level, nor if that's what he meant when he was talking about, I will eradicate them. I think it was more the regime being eradicated. This conversation was just so kind of awkward at that point, where I'm trying to find some kind of positive, and a lot of people who are very privileged just can't seem to come to terms. And it just seems wild to me that in America we are so committed to the fight, one side against the other, and we just come up with some crazy conspiracy theories and ideas. And I wonder where they come from at times. Just the thought that we would drop a nuke on a civilization when all we have to do is get rid of a government and a regime that probably isn't serving its own people very well. And I think we just say it because we don't like our president, and so all of America is bad, and we're going to do some really messed up things. You have these really wealthy people, and it's odd that they must be educated because they can afford multiple homes, and so they're pretty privileged, but still things are bad for them. And it's kind of like they want sympathy from the Uber driver who is making like peanuts in this day and age. I kind of feel that so many of us, in America at least, probably around the world, we're really looking for that boogeyman to blame. We want to look at this picture that's like so big and grandiose, and like these huge problems that are affecting our entire country, and that we're all going to hell in a handbasket, and that we're fighting this huge war against racial inequality and sexual inequality. This battle of like freedoms, the right is trying to impose limitations, or the left is, and we're all just subjugated to this boogeyman right now in government. And it seems like we're just really ignoring the little things that are bothering all of us in their everyday life. And like, if you have enough money to be isolated from that, like, fantastic, that's great. But we're definitely turning the point of all of our inequalities are really come down to our incomes. those with more money can isolate behind their gates and they can kind of afford certain opinions. And I feel that I myself can't really agree because I'm not protected at all. And every little mistake has really big consequences. And I'm living this day-to-day life of battling decreasing wages and an oversaturated job market and corporations that want to pay me less and less for every hour that I'm working. And yes, the government like taking away any kind of health insurance and thinking about if I get sick, I need to make sure that I'm able to have the back door of like a bankruptcy. And it seems that all of these issues that I think a lot of us are living through are just being ignored. We're looking at this great big picture of like, yeah, we got this war in Iran and we have a border, I guess, that doesn't have a wall, or people came over from long ago, and we have a mayor in New York, and politics is just overwhelmingly controlling our lives. When I don't really think that it needs to this level. It seems that if you're so interested in where America's going and if it's really bad, that we can focus more in our local communities, which seem to have been kind of forgotten, probably because it doesn't get clicks, and then the views, and then the major news media channels won't cover any of that because it's not really entertaining to the majority. And I feel like we're losing a lot of the plot these days. And we're just being isolated, not from a racial or an immigrant citizen level. It's those that want to maintain their level of power and their status with money and keep others subjugated to their thoughts and their belief systems. I mean, I don't really know, but I think our war is not really against other countries. It's kind of becoming a war of the biological people versus made-up entities such as corporations and the incessant need for continual growth at the cost of the people. And the 99% of us will never be as important as dividends or rising stock price to these ultra elite people. And all of this smoke and mirrors of wars and politics, I think it's distracting us from the real plot of the normal American not being able to create a savings account, get paid a decent wage that they can live, and have a family. I mean, these days, having a child is just so expensive. And then the rising costs of all of our universities. So nowadays, we have to get a college degree to be successful. And then we probably need a postgraduate degree. And who even knows what degree is going to be relevant into the future. And I think there's a lot for us to think about moving forward, especially with AI and then the drawbacks, but then also the benefits of artificial intelligence being far more quicker to learn and bring up information than we ever will with our puny brains. I don't know. This was an interesting conversation I had. This gentleman was talking about moving to Canada, and I kind of wanted to ask him, well, if it's so terrible here and our government is subjugating us to be future slaves, wouldn't you want to stay and fight for the common good? But we're seem to be so far gone that we don't even have any pride in our nationality, and we're all just here in America for the economical benefits. And people come here for the American dream, and perhaps when we achieve the American dream, it is then to leave, which I can understand. If I had the capability, I would probably take that same route. But perhaps this open hatred of our country just because of a certain president, future or past, or present and past, because a lot of people hating Biden as well, and now it's hating Trump. But I think it's all by design, and it wants us to be separated and having these little mini battles between us. And we should definitely be having some compassion and just being happy that we're here in this country and we have such a privileged life. And really we're very safe for the most part in America from outside forces, where none of us have lived through a war on our home soil. Everything is relatively stable. And if we think about the people who are in Iran, I mean, their success every day is, I woke up and I'm not dead. And I think we need to just continually recognize every day of our privilege, no matter how we're living, is that we're in a free country and we can protest. And our chances of dying from a bomb or government suppression is nil to none. I mean, there's probably a chance, but probably it would be one of our own instigating against our police force. That would probably be the end of us, not an actual federal government. And so this is kind of a rant. It's kind of a just, I don't know. It probably doesn't even make any sense right now. But just a few thoughts. And I think we need to keep things in perspective, that we still live in such a great country and such a great part of the world. And just the diversity of America and its people and the people coming here and those who want to come here, we really take it all for granted. And whether we're for a war or not, the worst thing that we're going through is we pay more in gas and probably a few other goods, and probably our tax dollars are going to a murder machine. But that's a really small price to pay for what's really happening and what we're doing, whether it's for good or bad. And I think that we just need to look at the positive of, we're heading towards the better side of this war. Whether we should have gone or not is irrelevant. None of us have the power or the influence to say yay or nay that we go to a war. That's up to the people that we've elected to make those decisions for us. But at least we need to support that this should be coming to an end, and we need to have a time of peace, which it seems that no president really has seen in the last 20 years. But that should be our goal, and we shouldn't lose focus of that. And just keep our fingers crossed that this peace treaty will hold, and we can all kind of get back to our normal lives, our privileged lives. And yes, since I drive on Uber and DoorDash and all the other gigs, that gas prices come down, because that will personally benefit me. But I think it's a small price that I pay every day. And if the chance that it helps people from across the world have a better government and a better economy, and they build up their country to be a proper, fair democracy in the world that treats its citizens fairly, I think that's a big W in the world. And if we can get rid of more evil, then we should do that. Sadly, I think evil will always exist, but if we can eradicate some of it, maybe that's an overall good for America, for Europe, and all of the world. And the more of these dictator, warlike, evil leaders and influencers, the better. And I really don't like making videos about politics or the world, but sometimes I just have these conversations, and it just really makes me start thinking about where we really are as a society and kind of where we're going. And so I feel like I just have to talk about that because that really controls a lot of my brain functioning for that time period or that day. But I don't know, I think that we should really focus on trying to help one another rather than just getting so focused on all of the negativity that's happening right now in the world. Everyone is genuinely probably a decent person.